Hey fandom, how's it going? Today we're going to be looking at my top 10 choices for the comic books of the year. Now these are not new series, that's going to be a separate video. These are the ongoing series that have been going through, or some of the series that, have been around for a while. So we are looking at my top 10. I'm going to warn you ahead of time for number 10. I kind of cheated because I couldn't decide what it was, so there's two number 10s. Yeah. So number 10A, we are going to be looking at Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman by Cliff Chiang and Brian Azzarello is one of the best series that is going around right now. Unfortunately, they had to end their run this year, and I think they ended around issue 35, so you can pick up all the hardcovers and you'll be just fine. Wonder Woman by Brian Azzarello and Cliff Chiang is fantastic. They were the ones that took up the reins of Wonder Woman after the New 52 started, and they decided, let's tweak the origin of Wonder Woman a little bit, make it more modern, make it more understanding, because let's face it, the old origin does not really work in today's modern age. I really love what they did with the character. They made her strong. They introduced a lot of side characters, and you see the pantheon of gods that surround Wonder Woman and this universe. There's Hades, there's Apollo, and they like to interplay with each other, and they mess around a lot with each other, and they kind of do like Game of Thrones-esque moves with each other, and it's really cool, and I really like Ares in this. Ares is pretty cool. Definitely recommend you check this out. I think Cliff Chiang is doing fantastic artwork on this, and Wonder Woman is the best she's been written-wise in a long time. I really enjoy this. But this is not a Wonder Woman that you give to your little girl. That's the only unfortunate thing. It's very much like, if you think about it, the video game God of War. It's pretty much God of War meets Wonder Woman. It's really cool stuff. Definitely recommend. Check this out. Number 10B, because I could not decide. I am going to go with Black Science. If you are not reading Black Science, that you definitely should pick this up, because this is really cool. This is written by Rick Remender and art by Matteo Scalera. Black Science basically tells the story of this one family and this scientist who he has decided to go hopping around interdimensions and try to discover different universes and parallel stuff. Of course, like all scientific experiments happen, things go wrong. They go terribly wrong in this series, and they get stuck in a different dimension, and they have to try to figure out how to get their way back. There's awesome stuff, and the creativity in this is beautifully done. I mean, you're talking about, like, what if he got stuck in a dimension where Native Americans didn't get wiped out and they became a technologically superior race. It is really interesting stuff. They get stuck on different planets. They get stuck on different universes. I really recommend you check this out. And Rick Remender is one of my personal favorite art writers. And I think it has some of the best art that's being done in the industry with Matteo Scalera. Bam. Check this out. Really recommend this one. Number 9. We are going to be looking at Thor God of Thunder. If you have not read Thor God of Thunder, you really should owe yourself to pick this up. I adore Thor God of Thunder. I think Thor God of Thunder is awesome. Thor God of Thunder is Jason Aaron and Esad Ribic's take on the character. Esad Ribic does the art, and Esad Ribic was born to do the art on this because it is awesome. It is metal as hell. And it is really cool. I really enjoy this. Thor God of Thunder basically tells the story of Thor and these three different timelines. You have young Thor, middle-aged Thor, and old King Thor. And how they have to deal with this character called the God Butcher in these three different timelines. The God Butcher is going around the universe for different reasons, and he's killing all the gods in the universe. It's really an interesting story, and you get to see how it plays out in the eventual climactic fight where all three different timeline Thors come together and face off against Gorr. Definitely check this out. It's a fun read. It is metal. It is awesome. It is everything. And come on, you have Thor riding like a space shark in here. It's awesome. It's really cool. Really. So check that out. Number 8. We're looking at Lazarus. Lazarus, I have done a review of this. Lazarus is a super complex story that tells the story of basically what happens if the Chinese economy collapsed and we were so dependent on it that what would happen if these 16 corporations essentially became a superpower and broke up the country into that and these different families. So we are focusing right now on the Carlyle family and Lazarus, and basically it tells the story of how the Carlyle family interacts with the other 16 families and this character named Forever Carlyle. Forever Carlyle is one of 5 sisters and brothers in this family, and she is what is referred to as a Lazarus. A Lazarus is a being that essentially cannot be killed, and they are these bodyguards, each one of the 16 families has one, that are meant to protect them. Now, due to certain circumstances inside of the book, Forever starts to question her existence. Am I really doing the right thing? Am I really part of this family? Who knows what's going on? Lazarus is a very great example of a world building tutorial. If you want to learn how to build a world, you read Lazarus, because Greg Rucka, who is doing the writing on this, is building a fantastic universe in this series, and if you have not read it, you really owe it to yourself if you like these espionage, Game of Thrones-esque type stories, and a sci-fi. Think about it basically as Children of Men meets Game of Thrones. If you've ever seen those two movies or that TV show, you owe it to yourself and check it out. Great pickup. Number 7, we are looking at Deadly Class. Deadly Class, written by Rick Remender, who I just recommended on this list for Black Science, is doing a great job here. This basically tells the story of a group of kids who they are recruited by this assassination school for different reasons. They're hoodlums, they're hood rats, they're not really great kids, and you get a feel for some of these people, and they have to go through these trials and tribulations as they learn how to become assassins for these different families. This is also set in the 1980s, and if you know anything about Rick Remender, he grew up in this time period. So he grew up in this punk scene and everything like that, and he learned a lot from this period. It's a really interesting read. If you've never checked this out, I really recommend you do. I think the art is really solid, and if you are fans of kind of the 1970s, 1980s punk scene and everything like that, and just great character work and really interesting characters, pick it up. Great read. I had to gloss over that one. Number 6, Daredevil. Mark Waid and Chris Samnee are doing fantastic work on Daredevil. Yes, this is the Scotty Young variant, and I got Scotty Young to sign it too. Mark Waid and Chris Samnee are killing it on Daredevil. They have been for about 3 or 4 years now, and they are doing the work of their lives on this character. Most recently, Daredevil was actually sent to California due to certain circumstances where he is outed. He outed himself as a superhero, and now he cannot practice law in the state of New York, so he moved to California. It is great. It deals with topics of depression, because if you know anything about Daredevil's history, he is probably the most depressed character in the entire universe, and he has a lot of reasons to be depressed. But Mark Waid decided to take him in a new direction where it's focusing more, hey, you can only be depressed and, kicking yourself so long before you kind of have to try to pull yourself out of it. So in this, Daredevil is fun. It's action-oriented. It's fun. It's a great read. Definitely check out Mark Waid and Chris Samnee's Daredevil. And it also has one of my personal favorite issues that deals with kids inside of that are sick. I almost gave something away. It deals with certain kids that are sick, and it is just heartbreaking, and it shows you how inspiring comic books and superheroes can be to people. I know for me personally, Daredevil is honestly something that helped me out in my life because I have suffered from a lot of things, and Mark Waid's run has pulled me through a lot of dark times. So definitely check this out, Daredevil. Awesome. Number 5, we're going in the top 5 now. The Fifth Beatle. The Fifth Beatle, for me, is something that is special. This is a one-and-done hardcover, and you can give this to the fan who likes the Beatles. They're a fan of the Beatles, they enjoy the Beatles, and they want to know everything about the Beatles. The Fifth Beatle tells the story of Brian Epstein. Brian Epstein was the Beatles' manager when they were first starting out. He was gay, though. That's the thing. And at this point in time, if you were gay in England and in these areas, it was illegal and you could be chemically castrated, which happened a lot, unfortunately, to a lot of people. So Brian Epstein, he believed so much in the Beatles that he funded them. He pitched for them everywhere he could. He said, look, these guys are going to be huge. Please, 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 please. I want you guys to help them out. Hook them up. Let them be the success that I know they can be. It is a beautifully done story with amazing art. And if you have not picked up The Fifth Beatle, I really recommend you do check this out because you owe it to yourself. It is great stuff. Really, really recommend you check this out. And it's a heartwarming story about a guy that really honestly just wanted to find love. And in the world where he is surrounded by so many fans and so many people, he just didn't feel loved. He really didn't. He never found that true love in his life. So, great read. Really recommend you check this out. Number 5. Here is the dinghy. This is the one I love, one of the most that I love this year. Superior Foes of Spider-Man. If you are not reading Superior Foes of Spider-Man, you are missing out on one of the funniest comic books that is being written right now. Written by Nick Spencer and art by Lieber. These are two guys that I really hope will come back for another collaboration because Superior Foes of Spider-Man basically tells the story of the D-list Spider-Man team. No Spider-Man is not in this, so you don't have to worry about any continuity. The D-list Spider-Man villains and how they formed the Sinister Six, who is actually 5 guys, not 6, go figure. and basically tells the story of Speed Demon, Boomerang, Overdrive, Shocker, and I forgot the girl's name right now, who I'm sure you guys are going to rip me apart in the comment section for this. And basically how they go about and pulling off these heists and how they go about backstabbing each other. It is hilarious. It is a fun read, and you really get a sense of these just dumb, idiotic supervillains and how why would they go through this? Why would they put themselves through all these different things? And it has cameos by villains like Doctor Doom and things like that. One of my personal favorite bits is that they have to steal the head of a mob boss called Silvio Silvermane, who his head was chopped off, and he is biologically, genetically enhanced, so he survived it, but his head is now on a race car, and Shocker has to go try to find him. It's hilarious. I'm not doing this justice. Definitely recommend you check out Superior Foes of Spider-Man. It's a great, funny read. And it's unfortunate that it got canceled after 17 issues, but this really is going to be the cult classic. I'm calling it right now. In a few years, this is going to be remembered as a cult classic. Number 3. We're going to be looking at Batman. Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman, to me, they are doing one of the best runs on Batman in a very long time. Most recently, they did 0 Year, where they told the Batman origin for the New 52. If you're not reading Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's Batman, go pick it up. I mean, it's really a fun read, and it's a great introduction to the character, and I think a lot of people are enjoying what they are doing on this. Some people have complained that Scott Snyder's arcs, that they don't end as strongly as they start. I can see that complaint. Some of these endings are kind of very ambiguous, especially with the first Joker story arc, where I was like, I'm not sure how I fall on that one. I thought it could have been done better. But overall, I really do think if you give this to somebody or if you pick this up, they will enjoy the Batman story that is being told here. And it also, despite the fact that it didn't end well for a lot of people, I think the Joker story arc has one of the most frightening Jokers that has ever been put on screen. So I think these guys are doing a great job. 0 Year was a fun introduction to the character. Really, check it out. Number 2, Southern Bastards. If you are not reading Southern Bastards, you are missing out on one of the best comics that is being put out right now on the market. Jason Aaron and Jason Latour are telling a fantastic story of a man named Earl Tubbs and how he's come back to his town to bury his father, and he doesn't know what's going on exactly. The town's kind of run down, and it's being run by this mob boss called the Coach. He's the football coach of the high school team. It's great stuff and gritty, and it has one of the first arc, actually when the first arc ends, has one of the most gut punch endings that I've ever seen, where it just sucked the wind out of me. Southern Bastards is fantastic, and if you live in the South, and if you've ever known kind of the Southern living style, you will get a lot out of this. It's basically, if you mix the movie Walking Tall, it's basically the movie Walking Tall, actually, no mixing it. It is the movie Walking Tall, basically, and how he comes back, and he's got this big stick, and he is out for revenge on these people. Definitely recommend you check this out. Really great read. And, of course, number 1. This is going to be probably number 1 on everybody's list. I know it's cliche, but Saga. Saga by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples is one of the best reads of the year for me. I adore Saga. I think it is fantastic, and if you have not seen my review of it, it's on the channel. Saga by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan tells the story of Marco and Alana, who are new parents, and they are going about this world and trying to figure out this universe. So, not world. It's a universe-spanning plot, and basically they go about these things, and they try to raise this child named Hazel. Hazel, what's different about Hazel? Hazel is actually the first of her kind because she is bred between these two interwarring species between Marco and Alana. Marco and Alana are from different planets. Well, technically not a planet because Marco's from the satellite of Alana's orbiting planet, but I'm not doing this story justice. Trust me, pick this up. Saga is beautifully done. It's a hardcover. I reviewed it a few days ago. I think you will enjoy this, and it is perfect for that fan who likes Star Wars, sci-fi, or anything like that, and knows that they will just enjoy it. They will really enjoy this. Pick this up, really. Okay, so that is my top 10 for the year. If you have any other questions or anything like that, please let me know. If you have your own top 10, please let me know in the comments below. Comment, subscribe. Love to hear back from you. Bye.